Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. D. Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor, Department of Cybersecurity. Today we are going to discuss about C Preprocessor. What is preprocessor? Preprocessor is nothing but C programming has its own compiler to translate the higher and higher level language into the exe file. The C++ stands for C Preprocessor. The C Preprocessor is a program that processes our source code from the compiler to the executable file. Say for an example, when we are writing a source code, it will be in a high level language that we are going to store as an example of program 1.c. That extension of .c shows that what kind of the program it is. When it gets compiled, the .c program is going to be converted into obj file, that is object file. When it gets converted to object file, it checks for the syntax for, that is, rules and regulations for all the programming language whatever you are using. After compilation, the source code is going to be converted into the exe file, that is executable file, which the computer can able to understand. In between this, the preprocessor is going to used before it get compiled and executed. Here is the flow of how the preprocessor works. The handwritten program, that is our source code, what we are typing in a platform of a Turbo C, it is going to be any text editor. It is not going to be a Turbo C or the C++ or on any online editor. It is going to be in a high level language. Then it is going to be stored as a source code with a dot extension to explain what kind of the file it is. Then it get pre-processed, that is expanded source code into program name .i. That is, it is an expandable preprocessor which can able to ready for compilation. During compilation, the pre-processed file is going to be converted as object file or object code. After compilation, that is during compilation, it checks for the particular language rules and regulations, that is syntax. If the source code is having the correct syntax, then the compiler will put forward the object file into the linker, which can able to execute the file in the form of exe. That exe file is an executable file which consists of a binary, whereas the object file consists of a alphanumeric numbers, where the extendable source code, that is that is program name with an I dot extension having the source code with a preprocessor. The initial stage of the preprocessing is a source code which has the high level language, whereas the lower and executable file has a low level language. The intermediate level language was converted with the compiler and the preprocess. Here is an output how the preprocessor was executed or how the preprocessor was incorporated in any programming language. The editor program type from the keyboard, whenever we are typing a program from the keyboard, that is going to be the source code which consists of the extension file, and the preprocessor will convert the source file into the preprocessing commands properly started out. Then the compiler will check for the syntax rules and regulation and relocate that as an object code. The linker, the header file which helps to execute the file in the form of an exe, that is executable code in a machine level language. All the libraries whichever it is there for any programming language. In case of C programming, we have header file like stdio.h, standard input and output dot header file, conio.head, console input and output header file. These kind of files helps the compiler or the linker to execute the program smoothly. If the source code is stored in the file is named as a pri.c, then the expandable source code gives the storage file as pri.i. That is, after pre-processing, the .c file is going to be converted as .i. After compilation, the .i program is going to be converted as a .obj. When it get executed, the .obj file is going to be converted as a .exe file. Each of these preprocessor directives begins with the symbol hash. Here the C program consists of a hash include as a preprocessor, which includes a header file which consists of all the definitions of the program whatever we are using inside the C. The following preprocessor directives are available in C programming: macro expansion, file inclusion, conditional compilation, and miscellaneous directives are the types of preprocessor whichever it is available. The file inclusion is one of the major part of a C program which include the header files which can capable of smoothly executing the files. Here is some of the example for the macro expansion. Consider the following program. The hash define before the main function. We all know that the C program will execute only from the main function. But before main, there is a statement called hash define upper 25. It shows that before the program get executed, the template, the hash define will find the upper wherever it is available in the program, that is in source code, and it will replace with the 25. In this program, in spite of writing 25 in the for loop, we are writing in the upper. That means we are defining the statement with a macro, which is commonly used as a macro definition during preprocessing. The preprocessor records the upper occurrence of the upper in the program with all the programs with the 25. That is in the program whatever we have saved. The another example for macro definition, that is pi. We know that pi is having a constant value, that is pi is a constant value of 3.14. Wherever the pi is found in the program, it will be replaced with the 3.14. We don't want to include the value of a pi in each and every time. This was the helping helping concept for the programmers where to declare and use all this kind of a constants wherever we use inside the program. When the compiler compiles a program, before the source code passes to the compiler, it is examined by the C processor for any macro definition. If any macro definition exists with a hash define, the compiler will automatically translate and the entire program with the macro templates, then only it will get compiled. In C program, it is customary to use capital letters for macro templates, but it is optional to have a space in between hash and define, like whatever we are including in hash include files also. Here is another example where we are defining and or functions inside the program. Here we are using and as a symbol. We have defined and as a symbol of double ampersand and or as a symbol of a double parallel line, that is pipeline. In spite of using the double ampersand in everywhere in your program, you can use and, which can able to define that it is a double ampersand. Or if the parallel symbol, if you want to include the or, you can, in spite of using a double parallel line, you can use or statement, whichever you can able to define with a macro. It shows that it is an or. This was another example how it was get replaced. I hope you have understood what is preprocessor and how macros helps in preprocessor. We'll discuss another concept in another video. Thank you.